So on this channel, I've told stories about all the times I've done the devil's tango in public places. And I will say this much, I think this was definitely one of the most awkwardest experiences ever. And at the same time, me being so young at this time and doing this was not the smartest idea. But before we get into the story, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And let's just jump straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to an embarrassing story. So today's story takes place back when I was in grade 9. Now, I won't lie to you. In grade 9, I wasn't pulling girls left and right. Yes, I had experience with women, but at the same time, I didn't really get into that phase of just, doing the devil's tango basically every week until my grade 10 year. But in grade 9, I won't lie to you, I was a real helpless romantic. And any chick that I could get with, I would go with it. But I remember one time I was third wheeling with one of my friends, and basically it was just him and his girlfriend, and we were just all hanging out at the mall. We decided to sit at the food court, and I remember when we were sitting down, his girlfriend ended up telling me, Bubba, you know what? Like, you're such a nice guy. I don't know why you're like still single. You know what? I have this girl that actually might really like you, and she might be good for you. You should try talking to her. Now, I will say this. I was really desperate at that moment. So when she told me that there was an opportunity for me to meet a girl, I decided to take it and say YOLO, basically. If people still say YOLO, I don't know if they do, but if you do, then yeah, I YOLO'd it. So I remember I ended up basically getting her Snapchat from her, and one thing led to another. I ended up DMing her. Apparently this girl already somewhat knew about me and knew about, my past a little bit and how, I've done some pretty dumb, embarrassing things. And apparently she was kind of already into me. I guess my friend's girlfriend already kind of hyped me up in a way. I guess that's a good thing. It's always nice to have a woman as a wing woman. I was gonna say wing man, but well, they're not men. But going on, I remember from there, I ended up basically DMing her left and right, and me and her, we were just talking and going through things together and basically talking about each other. I won't lie to you, this girl was actually like pretty interesting, and she was actually really nice. But then afterwards, there was the moment where she wanted to actually meet up and actually go on a proper date. Now, like I said earlier, I was in grade 9. Me going on dates wasn't really common, and to be honest, I've only dated like what, 3 girls my entire life. So I mean, to be fair, like I wasn't really good at dating, I guess, in a way. So I remember I ended up basically telling her how I was down to like, go out and maybe go on a date. She ended up asking me, oh, like, is it cool like if I come over to your place then? But obviously I had strict parents, so I ended up telling her, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think my parents will let me have you over. Is there like anywhere else we could just chill, just me and you? She ended up sending me a smiley face, and then she ended up telling me her address and to meet her outside her house at like 7 p.m. I don't know why she wanted to meet up after dinner. I guess it makes sense in a way, but I don't know. She wanted to meet up at 7 p.m. at the front of her place. I remember that same day, I ended up basically going to her place, and one thing led to another. I just kind of stood there waiting outside her house for like 10 minutes. I was in jeans and just a normal t-shirt, and then she ended up running outside in a tracksuit, by the way. Like, she was wearing those like Lululemon leggings, and she was wearing like a sports bra kind of thing. And she ran up to me saying, we're going for a run. Oh, you should have told me that earlier before I came. I would have worn like, sweats or something. Oh no, it's fine. We're not actually running far. At this point, I was really confused, but then afterwards, she ended up taking me for a run, and we ended up running on this trail that was kind of close to her house. Now, when we were running down this trail, I remember me and her were talking and stuff, and I'm gonna tell you right now, running in jeans was not fun. My pants were getting super sweaty in them, which is really TMI, but at the same time, this whole channel's TMI. So going on, I remember as we were running though, out of nowhere, she ended up actually running off the trail and more into the woods. And at this point, I was really confused on why she was heading towards the woods. Like, weren't we supposed to stay on the trail? Like, I don't know. I'm no like, wilderness explorer, but I know that maybe staying on the trail is a smarter idea than going off into the woods. So as she was running into the woods, I just kind of stood on the trail thinking, is this a good idea? And then she ended up yelling towards me saying, Bubba, come on, come into the woods. What happens next? Well, I guess I literally ended up coming into the woods. I remember I was running in there with her, and basically we ended up running to this log. There was a log that was like basically placed there, and honestly, it was kind of like a romantic spot, but in a way it was kind of gross knowing that there were spiders and a lot of creepy things in the woods. And I remember I ended up just sitting on the log beside her, and we just started talking. We started talking about like, past relationships and stuff. And me, I'm not gonna lie to you, in grade 9, I didn't really, like I said, have much experience with women. But one thing led to another. Out of nowhere, she told me to stand up from the log, and I stood up like the way I was supposed to. And then she ended up standing in front of me and dropping to her knees. I am not joking. She just dropped right onto her knees, and she decided to take off my, I would say more, but I don't want to get, demonetized. So we're just gonna go with, she ended up doing the devil's gluck. So as I'm standing there getting the Gluck Gluck 9000 in the woods, I had no idea what to do. I was just kind of looking around thinking, okay, this is kind of weird. And to be honest, I don't know if I feel comfortable. And at the same time, as I was like looking at her, I'm not gonna lie, over time, I really just wasn't attracted to her. I started realizing how this girl was actually pretty ugly and that, you know, I'm not into her. Like, I just wasn't. I know it sounds kind of mean, but at the same time, like, you know, I guess guys just get this ick randomly in a way. I don't know. I just got an ick, okay? I just got an ick from her. But knowing that she was still in the middle of doing the Devil's Gluck, I ended up looking up to the sky and closing my eyes and thinking about Miranda Cosgrove instead to basically, you know, make the process go faster. If you guys don't know who Miranda Cosgrove is, basically Miranda Cosgrove was the girl from iCarly. Yeah, I guess back in grade 9, I had a massive crush on Miranda Cosgrove, aka Carly, because, well, those cheekbones, holy shoot, like, she's fine as hell. I remember like 10 minutes in later on though, I ended up hearing some noise coming from the woods. And I remember I got super terrified and I heard that happen. And at that moment, I knew that I didn't want to get caught with this girl while she was giving me the Devil's Gluck. So what I ended up doing was I ended up having a fight or flight situation. And I had this, you know, growing up where basically I would choose to either fight or flight. And half of the time, I won't lie to you, I ended up doing the one thing that I knew I was best at. And that was flight, which was basically running away. I remember I ended up pushing her head away from my eggplant and I ended up pulling up my pants and running away while she was still on her knees, by the way. Like, I ran so fast, like not even Sonic could catch up with me. I remember I ran so fast to the point where I felt like I needed to get out of there. And I ended up actually sprinting all the way back home, which was a 20-minute walk, by the way. And I remember when I got home, I remember the first thing I decided to do was block her on every platform so that she wouldn't, you know, find me anymore. And yeah, basically that was the one time where I got the Gluck Gluck 9000 in the woods, or as I would say on this channel, the Devil's Gluck. Moral of the story, be careful who you go into the woods with. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.